Samuel was a playboy who worked as a guide on a private cruise ship at a resort in Paris. One afternoon, he asked his boss for permission to throw a party on the beach behind the resort. His boss initially refused, but because Samuel had worked hard all day, she eventually agreed, with the condition that the party end promptly at 1 a.m. Samuel happily promised to wrap things up on time. However, the party lasted until 5 a.m. When Samuel woke up later that afternoon, he was shocked to find a woman standing at the front of the ship. Her name was Kristen, and she had a baby with her. The baby, she claimed, was Samuel's biological daughter, Gloria. Samuel was confused, not remembering ever meeting Kristen before. Kristen explained that they had met at a bar in London where she worked. In the middle of their conversation, Kristen asked to borrow 20 euros for a taxi fare and handed Gloria over to Samuel. But instead of returning, Kristen ran off with the taxi, leaving her daughter behind. Samuel chased after her, but he lost track of Kristen at the airport. In a panic, Samuel decided to catch the next flight to England. Upon arriving at the London airport, he struggled to communicate, not speaking English. He pulled out a map and searched for the bar where Kristen had worked. As he was wandering, he overheard someone speaking French on the phone. Samuel rushed to catch up and asked the man for help. The man was Bernie, who turned out to be a manager at an actor distribution agency. Bernie was impressed by Samuel's parkour skills as he weaved through the crowd, and he offered Samuel a job as a stuntman for an action movie. After giving Samuel his business card, Bernie invited him to reach out if he was interested. Samuel continued his search for Kristen's bar, but when he arrived, the waiter informed him that Kristen had quit her job. Desperate, Samuel decided to return to Paris. At the airport, however, he realized that his wallet was missing. When he called his boss to ask for help, she fired him for partying until dawn. Shocked, Samuel fell silent. Amid his turmoil, he remembered Bernie's business card and immediately contacted him. Without hesitation, he accepted Bernie's offer. Bernie, seeing Samuel's situation, invited him to stay with him. Samuel's new life began in England. Over the years, he worked as a stuntman and took care of Gloria, who was now 8 years old. She had become his translator, as despite living in England for 8 years, Samuel still couldn't speak English. One day, during a film scene, Samuel suddenly fainted. Everyone panicked, but when Gloria whispered something in his ear, Samuel immediately woke up. Later that day, they went home. Samuel had bought his own house, which he had designed to be like a playground for Gloria. That night, while hanging out with Bernie, Gloria heard a notification sound from her room. She rushed to check it, thinking it was a message from her mother. In truth, Samuel had been sending messages to Gloria every day, pretending they were from Kristen, not wanting his daughter to feel abandoned. Samuel continued sending messages to Kristen on Facebook, even though he knew her account had been inactive for a long time, hoping one day she would read them. The next day, during a routine checkup at the hospital, the doctor spoke to Samuel alone, revealing the heartbreaking truth. Gloria had a life-threatening illness and wouldn't live much longer. Samuel was devastated but had to stay strong for his daughter. Later that day, as they walked around an amusement park, a woman mistakenly grabbed Gloria's hand, thinking she was her daughter. When she apologized and left, Gloria was saddened by the reminder that she had never known her biological mother's love. That night, Samuel sent an emotional message to Kristen on Facebook. To his surprise, her account was active, and she began reading his old messages. A notification soon came through. Kristen wanted to meet Samuel and Gloria at the park the next day. Samuel couldn't wait to see Gloria's face light up when she reunited with her mother. The next day, they all met at the park, and Gloria invited Kristen to her house to spend time together. However, late at night, Kristen revealed the real reason she had left Gloria with Samuel. She didn't want the burden of raising her child. Despite Kristen's apology, Samuel was furious, but he held back, not wanting to wake Gloria. Days passed and Kristen continued to visit Gloria, which made Samuel slowly start to accept her presence in his life. One night, while at the amusement park, Samuel proposed to Kristen. He wanted to give Gloria a complete family, but Kristen told him she was already engaged to another man and planned to move to America after their wedding. Samuel was crushed, but he realized that Kristen was only there for Gloria, not for him. The following day at a restaurant, Kristen brought her fiancé to meet Samuel and Gloria. While the adults were talking, Samuel misunderstood a conversation in English and thought Kristen's fiancé was laughing at him, which made him dislike him even more. At the shooting location the next day, Samuel told Bernie about the incident. Later, Gloria, Kristen, and her fiancé arrived at the set. Gloria had invited them. During the conversation, Bernie told Samuel that his next scene involved jumping from the 6th floor of a burning building. Samuel, terrified, asked Gloria to persuade the director to let him jump from the 1st floor instead. Gloria confidently spoke to the director, but instead she told him Samuel could jump from the 11th floor. She wanted to impress her mother and make her stay in England rather than moving to America. On the day of the stunt, Samuel believed Gloria had persuaded the director. However, when the crew informed him that he was expected to jump from the 11th floor, he grew angry and demanded to be let down. The director, confused, scolded Gloria, which made Samuel realize he had to jump from the 11th floor. He performed the stunt, but when he landed, he fainted. Gloria tried to revive him, but when he didn't wake up, panic set in. An ambulance was called, and Samuel eventually regained consciousness. Kristen, upset, asked what Gloria had whispered to him during his unconscious state, but Samuel refused to answer. Later that night, Kristen confronted Samuel, accusing him of lying to Gloria about messages from her. Gloria had overheard everything, and, heartbroken, she left with Kristen. When Samuel returned home, Bernie tried to console him, but Samuel was devastated. He confided in Bernie about Gloria's illness, and Bernie, who had come to love Gloria like his own, shed tears. Days later, Gloria had not returned home, and Samuel grew more worried. He couldn't reach Kristen on the phone. Meanwhile, Kristen and Gloria were spending time together, doing mother-daughter activities. One night, Samuel went to Kristen's apartment and demanded to take Gloria home. Kristen refused, claiming she felt whole as a mother with Gloria in her life. She threatened to take Samuel to court for custody. Samuel wasn't afraid, and as he carried Gloria to their home, he promised to fight for her in court. The custody battle began, with Kristen arguing that Gloria would be happier living with her biological mother. She claimed that her fiancé loved Gloria as his own child. In response, Samuel poured his heart out in court, recounting the sacrifices he had made for Gloria. He expressed how much she meant to him and how he had been the only parent she had ever known. His words moved everyone, and after much consideration, the judge ruled in Samuel's favor. He would keep custody of Gloria. However, a few weeks later, Samuel received shocking news. Kristen had secretly conducted a DNA test, and the results revealed that Samuel was not Gloria's biological father. The next day, everyone returned to court, where the judge, after reviewing the results, revoked Samuel's custody. Gloria would now live with Kristen. Samuel was heartbroken, but he explained the situation to Gloria, trying to make sense of the truth for her. As Kristen prepared to take Gloria, Bernie and Samuel said their goodbyes. When Gloria climbed into the car to leave, she suddenly ran back to the house and hugged Samuel tightly. She said she wanted to stay with him forever. Kristen, furious, accused Samuel and Bernie of conspiring to take her daughter. In a fit of rage, she threatened to report them to the police. Bernie, deeply upset, shouted at Kristen, revealing the truth about Gloria's illness. He begged Kristen to let Samuel have a little more time with her. After hearing the truth, Kristen finally relented and allowed Samuel to take Gloria to France. Samuel and Gloria made the most of their time together, creating beautiful memories. Once a week, Kristen and Bernie visited. Samuel promised to keep making Gloria happy for as long as he could, and he did. A few weeks later, Gloria passed away. Samuel was devastated by the loss of his little princess, but he was grateful for the time they had shared. Though his heart was broken, the memories they made together would stay with him forever.